Hi, welcome back to the Photoshop training channel. I'm Jesus Ramirez. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the new ContentAware Fill in Adobe Photoshop CC 2019. This will be a comprehensive guide. I'm going to go through every single option. There's going to be a lot of information, so watch the tutorial all the way to the end. You don't want to miss a thing. Also, if this is your first time at the Photoshop training channel, then don't forget to click on that subscribe and notification buttons. Okay. Let's get started. Photoshop CC's 2019's biggest and best feature is perhaps the new ContentAware Fill. The previous version of ContentAware Fill didn't give you many options besides a layer mask hack that you probably saw in one of my older tutorials, and this new version of Photoshop gives you complete control over how ContentAware Fill works, and it allows you to work non-destructively. Let me first show you how the old ContentAware Fill used to work. It's still available in Photoshop CC 2019 in case you want to use it. So the way it works is that you would create a selection. I'm using the lasso tool for that. Then you would go into the Edit menu, select Fill, and under Contents, you would select ContentAware and check on the box. Press OK, and Photoshop would analyze the pixels surrounding the selection and use those pixels to fill it in. So I'm going to zoom in so that you can see. It was a pretty good fill, but it's not perfect as you can see. Also, you notice that we had no options. The only way that we were able to alter what Photoshop was sampling was by using a layer mask. Now, in the new version of Photoshop, you have complete control over the ContentAware Fill. So what I'm going to do is simply press Ctrl Z to undo. Then I'm going to go into Edit, ContentAware Fill. This is the new feature in Photoshop CC 2019. You'll notice that it's a complete workspace that gives us a toolbar, the working document, a preview of what we're doing, and options for the ContentAware Fill. Just to make sure that we're all on the same page, I'm going to reset the options, and I'm just going to collapse these panels just so that we're all looking at the same thing and there's nothing else distracting us. We're going to start with the toolbar. On the left-hand side, you have different tools. The ones that you probably know how to use are the hand tool, which allows you to click and pan on the image, and the zoom tool, which allows you to zoom in or zoom out. You can zoom out by holding Alt Option on the Mac and clicking. You could also click and drag for the scrubby zoom. Just make sure that this box is checked. Otherwise, when you click and drag, you would create a box that will zoom in into that area. If you click on scrubby zoom and click and drag, you zoom in and out. So use the feature that best works for you. You then of course have the 100% view, fit screen, and fill screen buttons. But in most cases, you'll probably just use the zoom tool. I like to use the spacebar, so hold the spacebar and click and drag to use the pan tool. The next tools in this panel help you control what Photoshop is sampling. So the first tool, the sampling brush tool, allows you to remove the areas that Photoshop is going to sample from. Notice that when I do that, Photoshop automatically updates the preview. You'll notice a rotating circle. That means that Photoshop is generating the preview. You will also notice a warning icon. That means that you're looking at a low resolution preview, but once Photoshop generates a high resolution preview, that warning will go away, and that's what you're going to be seeing in the preview window. So watch what happens. I'm going to paint, release the mouse button. Photoshop will analyze the image. Once the warning icon is gone, then that's when you're looking at the full resolution preview. By the way, just to be clear, anything that is in green is what Photoshop is using to analyze this image. When I paint, I remove from those areas that Photoshop is analyzing from. Also notice that currently the subtraction button is enabled. If I hold Alt Option on the Mac, it switches over into the add mode so I can add to the sampling area. If I had the add enabled, when I paint, I add, and when I hold Alt Option on the Mac, I subtract. So pay attention to the buttons that you have selected, and then just realize that holding the Alt key will select the opposite. When you release, it will return to the selected one. And of course, you can control the size of the brush with this dropdown. Then we have the lasso tool and polygonal lasso tool. Notice that when we select either of these tools, we get more options in the options bar. This tool allows us to add to the fill area, and notice that the preview generates automatically, or we can subtract from it by holding Alt and Option on the Mac. So something that I would recommend is making your initial selection. Once you're inside of the ContentAware workspace, just refine it. So I always like to keep as much of the original pixels as possible. So I'm refining the selection like so. You don't have to be very precise, but just make adjustments to the selection so that it works on your image. You also have this feather option. Right now I have a feather set to 2 pixels. That simply means that the edge is not sharp. It's going to be blurry by 2 pixels. I like having just a slight feather just so that there are no sharp lines when I'm filling. So my feather is set to 2, but you can change it to whatever works in your case. Then we have these buttons that I actually wish I could see outside of this tool because I really like them. We have the expand and contract. Expand simply means that the selection is going to expand, and contract means we're going to make it smaller. Notice how that changed that area here, so I can just come in and just fill that in and hold Alt, Option the Mac, and subtract. And by the way, we're expanding and contracting by 3 pixels because that is the number on this dropdown. Also, something I want to point out is that if I were to paint with the brush tool, like for example, remove the sampling area from the top there, and I expanded my selection, then contracted my selection, notice how the green comes back. So keep an eye out for that. But anyway, now that you know how the tools work, let's look at the image, see the preview, and see how we can improve it with the options available. So what I'm going to do first is just click on the zoom tool, fit the image on screen, and I'm just going to paint the areas away that I don't want Photoshop to sample. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit and keep an eye out for the changes that occur here. I don't want Photoshop to waste time looking at pixels that it shouldn't use for the fill. So I'm just going to subtract the sky because I really don't want much of the sky to be used, and I accidentally deleted too much from the water. I actually do want part of the water because as you can see, he's running and we can see the horizon line and a little bit of the sky. So I can always add in case I make a mistake like I just did there. So I'm just adding these pixels in. Also, I don't want these reflections, so I'm going to subtract all this from the sampling area. And it looks like I accidentally zoomed in, so let me just set that back to 100% and maybe even zoom out just a little bit further. Sorry about that, I accidentally zoomed in, but anyway, here we are. And it's looking much better. So what I'm going to do now is explain what all these options do. Show sampling area simply means show the green areas, what we're sampling. That's all that does. Then we have the sampling options. In the sampling options, you can reduce the opacity of that green. I like 50%, so that's where I'll leave it. You could also change the color to something else, so maybe red, yellow, whatever works for your image. The default green works great in this example. And then what it indicates. In this case, it's indicating what Photoshop is sampling to generate the fill. You could also select excluded areas, so the areas that Photoshop is not analyzing. In this case, sampling areas works, so that's what I'll select. Then we have the fill settings, and this is where the real power of the new ContentAware Fill comes in. Let's start with color adaptation. Color adaptation allows contrast and brightness to adapt for a better match. Good for filling contents with gradual color or texture changes. So you can just click on the drop down and select the different settings. Notice when I select the setting, it automatically changes the preview. And I can just click on these and see if any of these give me a better result. For an image like this, I think that the default setting is perhaps the best, but you can switch them around in your image to see what works better. Also, we have rotation adaptation. Rotation adaptation allows the content to rotate for a better match. It's good for filling content with rotated curves or patterns. In this case, it can actually help us align these lines that you see there. So I can just select something like medium and see how that adjusts the rotation. That might be too much, so maybe bring it down to low and see how that works. It's really doing a lot of damage here in the horizon, so maybe leaving it at none is probably best. And I can then use the other options, for example, scale. Scale allows the content to resize for a better match. It's good for filling content with repeating patterns of different sizes or under perspective. So if I click on that, notice how it matches the lines much better. We also have the mirror option, which simply allows the horizontal flip of content for a better match. So I can click on that and see if it makes any change. And it does, but I'm not happy with it, so I'll return back to mirror. Now that I've made all these adjustments, I can actually come back and see if color adaptation gives me better results by using high or very high. And I actually kind of like that, so I'll leave it at very high. Now that I've made all these changes, I can select the output settings. How do I want to output this adjustment? On a duplicate layer, meaning I'll duplicate the original and apply the change, or I can simply create a new layer and fill those pixels in that have changed on that layer or on the current layer. I like working non-destructively, so I'll select either new layer or duplicate layer. In this case, new layer will work, so I'll select that, then I'll press OK. Notice that a new layer was created with that pixel information, and I'll zoom in so that you can see it. There it is, and you can see the result. I'm going to press Ctrl D, Command D to deselect. The great thing about using a layer is that you can also create a layer mask and then paint with black in areas to reveal some of the original pixels in case you need to. In this case, we don't need to, but that option is there. Now, I know that that was sort of a long-winded explanation of how the tool works, but now I want to show you the real power of this tool by showing you a few more examples. So I'm going to go into this image here, which will really show the power of this tool. So I'm going to zoom in to this area here. And if I wanted to remove this band from the image, I would need to make a selection around it, of course. I already have a pre-made selection just to save time, so I'm going to go into Select, Load Selection, and I'll select the selection titled Van and press OK. It's just a selection, that's all it is. I just made a selection before I started the tutorial to save some time. And if I were to select the background layer, use the keyboard shortcut Shift and Backspace to bring up the fill window, and select Content Aware, you will see that the original Content Aware fill wouldn't work because it's sampling all these pixels from different areas. And again, there was a masking hack that you can use to force Photoshop to use certain pixels, but now we don't have to worry about that. So I'm going to undo that fill and then just go into Edit, Content Aware Fill, and I'm going to find that van, there it is, and I'm just going to make a couple of changes to the selection. So I'm going to select the lasso tool, and I'm just going to remove some pixels that I want to keep. Something like that. Maybe I'll remove some of these, so I'll click and drag to remove some of these pixels as well. There it is. Now, if I click on the reset button on all these, I can zoom in and find that area. Here it is. So Photoshop is not doing that good of a job, of course, because I'm selecting all these different pixels that really don't have anything to do with the background that I'm trying to replace. So I'm going to zoom out, and I'm just going to paint with this brush, and I'm just going to subtract all the pixels that are not necessary to sample from. So all these pixels here are really not necessary for the sample. And notice that as I'm doing that, the preview's updating and it's already giving me much better results. And continue to paint areas away that don't work for the sample source, like these areas here. And also I'm going to zoom in so that you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just trying to keep the pixels that look a lot like the areas that will be under that van. And if you see any problem areas, then try to find them on the pixels that Photoshop is sampling, and then just simply paint those out. So I think that's already pretty good. And then of course I can use all these different settings, like maybe try scale and see how that works. That looks pretty good. Maybe mirror, flip things around and see if that gives us any better result. If they don't, then uncheck them and continue fine-tuning the different settings to get a good result. I don't think I need to rotate pixels in this case, so I'll just bring it back to none. And what I'll do is I'll just keep looking for the best areas to sample pixels from. Maybe I'll remove some of these pixels. And I think that something like this could work, so I can just press OK. And notice now how that's a much better fill than what Photoshop gave me with the old Content Aware Fill. And of course, it's on its own layer. And you can always come in and fine tune it if you need to. I'm going to show you another quick example just to show you different ways that this tool works. So if I wanted to keep this pattern as a design, but I wanted to remove this person's hand, let me show you how you could do that. I could simply make a quick selection using the lasso tool around that area, like so, and actually maybe even fine tune it a little bit before we go into the ContentAware Fill. Let me show you what the old ContentAware Fill looks like. So I'm going to hold Shift and Backspace to bring it up, and I already have it selected, so I'll press OK. And you can see that it didn't do that good of a job. So now I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to go into Edit, ContentAware Fill, and you'll see the results there. I'll zoom in so that you could better see the results. And I can start telling Photoshop what not to sample. I don't want any of this center area to be sampled. I obviously don't want his hand to be sampled, so I'm just painting those away, just so that we work with the areas that we really want. Then I can start fine-tuning the image. I know that I want scale enabled because I want Photoshop to be able to resize some of those pixels so that it fits better. I know that maybe mirroring could work, so I'll check mirror. And notice that by doing that, the image is starting to look much, much better. See that? And then I can adjust color adaptation, rotation adaptation, and see if that works. I'll leave color adaptation to default for now, and I'll start changing the rotation adaptation settings to see if it gives me a better result. And even though this is not perfect, it's still looking pretty good. So I'll just keep adjusting the settings and see if they make any more positive changes. Setting it to high is pretty good. Looking at this area here, and I'm not liking what's going on there. So what I'll do is I'll adjust the selection. So maybe I'll subtract from this area and see if it improves it. And it's much better. It's not perfect, but I think it's better. And I just want to make it clear that you'll probably never get a perfect fill with a complicated pattern like this, but you can already see the power of ContentAware because I can press OK, I get a new layer, and then I can start working on the finer details. So one of the things that I could do is maybe make an elliptical marquee selection, hold the space bar so that I can move the selection as I'm creating it, and I can right click on it and select transform selection. That's something that a lot of people don't know. It allows me to transform the selection as I'm creating it, and I can distort it and also use the warp to warp it so that it fits the area that I'm trying to select. So I'm just trying to select around these golden circles. And again, it's not important to get a perfect selection on this example, so I'll just stop it here and just create a layer mask and then clip this fill layer to it. Control-Alt-G, Command-Option-G on the Mac. And there it is. All you would need to do now is simply come in and fine-tune the finer details to make sure that areas like this are fixed, which is a lot easier than filling the rest. And if you're wondering how to do that, there's a lot of ways. You can clone, for example. So I can take from that area and start cloning things away and just fine-tune it as best as you can. Also, I'm going to delete this layer, and I just want to show you one other thing. If you have a layer mask active and you use the ContentAware Fill, then those areas will not be visible and you will not be able to use them as the source in the fill. So I'm not really looking for settings that work. I just wanted to show you that you could also make a fill when you have a layer mask active and how that feature reacts to it. So what do you think about this new ContentAware Fill? Do you like it better than the old one? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, if this is your first time at the Photoshop training channel, then don't forget to click on that subscribe and notification buttons. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you at the next tutorial.